Amazing, amazing film. Like one of my favorites from last year. We were literally just talking about what our favorite film was. What sparked this? Because I know working with John, he had mentioned it was like a love letter to his children, and you all originally started out with it being more horror. What was the collaboration like between you two and the original script idea and John?
For us, it was always inseparable. I mean, it's a horror film that is about a family, and that was one thing that when John came on board, it was so important to have somebody that connected to that emotional element and just like elevate that with their own life perspective. So it was very special for us to have him.
And it's really interesting because John was thinking a lot about his kids, but we were thinking a lot about our parents, you know, in a weird way. And so we were writing our parents into the film, and that kind of marriage of, you know, thinking about family is just really helped elevate the film. And he did such a beautiful job. We're really grateful.
I mean, it was such an art piece. Is this something that you guys set out to do when writing it? You were like, I want this to be mixed with horror, but like really allow it to be an art form rather than just like your typical horror film.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Like we always talked about it as like mixing Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven with Alien or something, like something pastoral and poetic and beautiful, but also terrifying was always the hope.
Yeah, and the idea of it deriving originally from early 20th century silent films, Jacques Tati and Charlie Chaplin, like looking at inspirations that weren't in the horror genre, but figuring out a unique way to kind of blend those together.
Yeah, and I think the elements were heightened because there is no sound, which is what we depend on so much. What did the script look like, though? I always wondered, I was like, is this like a 5-page script? Is this like a 40-page script? Like, what did the script look like? Because I'm sure it didn't look like your typical outline.
Yeah. The very first draft that we had sold was 67 pages, and so we put pictures in there of like Monopoly boards and handwritten letters, and it had, you know, hardly any dialogue on the page, and so we had to create what we called a sound map, where big sounds we would have like on single words on single pages, and then smaller sounds we would shrink the font size, really trying to give the reader a sense of what the sonic roadmap really would be.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. And then my last question is, involving their daughter and being deaf, was that a really important quality and element to you guys when writing the script?
Absolutely, yeah. The character of Reagan was based on a few of our friends from back home growing up, and just the feeling that the monster's greatest strength would become its greatest weakness, and her perceived weakness would actually become her superpower was always the idea. And Millicent did such a beautiful job, and her own experience as an actual deaf actress really elevated the role and made the character so much more than we could have ever put on the page.
Yeah, we always consider her the fourth writer of the film for bringing her own experience to it. So.
That's amazing. Congratulations. It was, honestly, I wish you guys the best of luck in there too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.